What's good, YouTube? So today I want to sit down and talk with you guys and tell you exactly who I am, why I made this channel, and what I plan to do in the future. So my name is Jonathan Moore, and as you may have noticed, the title of this channel is House of Champs. Champs is plural, not just for Billy's wins, but for my own also. A lot of people these days don't actually know that I have a win, and I find that somewhat surprising. So I want to sit down, talk about my Yu-Gi-Oh! History, how I got to that point, how I got here, and where we're going. So little old John Moore's very first packs were LOB First Ed from a Borders. Borders is a bookstore that is no longer with us, at least in Texas. And I opened these 6 packs, I got a piece of Exodia, I was so excited, and then we got to MRD and I went to my first tournament ever with this 60 card mishmash deck where I thought that all of the monsters could be summoned just like in the show. I get a crash course of the rules and I actually win my first game against a guy who's my friend for a while, and then against my second opponent, I win game 1. He's supposed to be like the king of the tournament, and I'd switched everything on the fly, and then they get me a game loss for my Dark Sword of Sedate having tape on it because I split it, and I'm playing without sleeves like the total uber casual scrub, and I'm able to like start beating these guys already. Like I have that much kind of insight to the game thanks to my brother, and we'll get into that in just a second. But they give me a game loss, and then I lose, and I get waxed my first tournament. So my older brother, Joel, actually got me on Pojo, and I started playing on the ladder system. And he gave me the crash course. This is MRD, and he shows me Skull Servant and 7 Tools, and how they're some of the best cards, and what I really should be doing. And through MRL and PSV, I make friends with this guy named Kyle Miller. He's an OG in the game, and he really kind of takes me under his wing. He wins a lot of tournaments, and he ends up going off to this other store, which is actually Billy's stomping ground. So we're going to get into how I and Billy like met. About a year goes by and I haven't lost my locals. The locals has even asked me to like lose on purpose, and I'm like, no, of course I'm not going to. I'm like this 14-year-old kid who doesn't understand why that would be a huge deal. And then Billy Break walks in my locals with Bobby Break, and Bobby hands me my first shellacking in about a year. And I just look down and I'm like, geesh. And so they tell me about creative gift baskets, and this is the local, like 5 minutes from where I live now, amazing place. I go over there wanting to return the favor, you know? I want to go and beat them, and I get into this local, and the judge sits down, looks through my deck, because I'm a Lone Star kid, and Lone Star kids are seen as kind of weak, and he's like, oh, this is pretty good. And this local 60, 70 people, this is huge for back then, and they're able to host regionals in their store. It's a huge, huge store. I sit down, I play him, I open the trifecta of Delinquent, Comfy, Forceful on him, and wax him. And then I top 8 my first tournament, but then I lose to somebody that's not Billy or Bobby, and I'm, ooh, someone else is beating me now. So the competitor in me just keeps ranking up, and finally, I get to face Bobby in the finals of a tournament. Bobby Break was the terror to me, not Billy. And I face Bobby in this finals, and they're closing the store. It's late. They're like, do you all just want to split? I'm like, no, I've got to win. And so I beat Bobby on the ground of this place, and the outside of the local, on the bricks. I play Bobby, and I beat him for the first time ever. And I just feel like basically the ultimate duelist, this guy who's come in and done what he was meant to do, made my dad wait outside, everything, like so selfish looking back, but I'm this 14-year-old kid. So we move forward, and Billy goes in and out of the game, comes back, wins an Xbox tournament, and then Billy and I kind of get to know each other over the years. Creative holds a tournament of regionals, actually, and it's my first regional top, and I'm playing, like, this is after the first ban list, I'm playing this 56 card burn deck with 3 wave motion, 3 messenger piece, level limits, gravity binds, 3 final countdown. I beat Riley Davis, the number 2 in Texas, and he tells me, I lost, and I'm like, oh, you know, it's only turn 16 of final countdown. There's only 5 counters on the wave motion. He's like, I decked out, John. I love Riley. Riley was just a hoot. And then we get into my top 8, and I lose turn 20. Turn 20, game 3, end phase to the Manticore loop of final countdown. In the top 8, and you used to only get invites for top 4. So my first competitive Shonen Jump comes up. I've played in 2 at this point. This is my 3rd ever, and I'm finally ready. I'm on this level now, and I bring 6 samurais, and it's their first weekend out, period. So I kind of make a toolbox version of it. I side 1 Solemn Judgment. It actually comes in clutch, stopping a Dimension Fusion. And I end up topping day 1 in 3rd place with my only loss to Adam Korn. And this is the first top 16 Shonen Jump ever. So I'm really mad because I'm like, if it was top 8, I still would have topped. I had those high standards. I'm still a selfish, like, teenager, 17-year-old at this point. And I'm like, well, grr. And then I lose, in the top 16 to a Dimensional Fissure deck. My wallet got stolen overnight. My social security card was in it. I was freaking out. I thought my life was over. And I'm not going to name the name. Somebody else in the top 16 had taken it, that had come in my room and stayed there. And when we dropped him off home, my mom had mentioned it to his dad. His dad went, huh? So I guess it's something that's happened in the past. And 4 days later, my wallet came back. Really sucked, but that's just kind of a show that outside influences can affect people's tournaments, and it really sucks when it happens. After this, Billy and I traveled both to our first ever out-of-state Shonen Jump, and that's Arizona, and he tops that, and that's pretty cool. It was his first top, and, we come back with Philly Luna, Jake McNeely, all these big names. We only went there with Jason Holloway, actually. It was me, Billy, and Jason. On the way back, these guys are like, we'd rather drive than fly, and it's one of the most bomb road trips ever. We stop at Border Patrol, and Jake's in the trunk with a seatbelt off, and I'm freaking out because I'm driving, and the guy's like, who's that in the back? I'm like, it's Jake McNeely, sir! Just like freaked out so hard. And they let us through, of course. Nobody has anything on them. No drugs, Duelist. And so we go ahead and come back. And so we fast forward to Shonen Jump Indie. And I actually scrub out day 1. Billy helps me with my deck. Basically, I'm playing Troop Dupe Monarch side into Machine, and we change it to Troop Dupe Machine side into Monarchs, and I wax the regional. I end up beating a national champion who's flown over. I face 6 Shonen Jump Crush cards. These are 2,000-3,000 a piece, and I face all of that during the regional, and I managed to top, and it's awesome. And then I top the Shonen Jump the next day, which is Indy, and Billy tops as well with his Baboon Troop Dupe. So we both earned our second top together. That was kind of cool. Then we finally fast forward to Houston 08, the 49th jump. Now, Dark Arm has just come out, and it is seen as the ultimate strategy, the ultimate deck. There's no better deck. And I'm still playing Samurais at this point because a new card has just come out for Samurais called Six Samurai United that gives the deck an ability to be the only pure +1 in the game besides Disc Commander, and you need a card to activate Disc Commander because it needs to come back from graveyard, basically. I take my strategy into the jump. I actually face a teammate, Robbie Stewart, round 2, and I take a loss because he knows my deck so well. He's playing Dark Arms with Dark Creators, all this stuff. He goes pretty far in the tournament, but then loses. And then, from that point on, I went out throughout the day. I have to face Chris Bowling. I beat him in a feature match. I have to play my friend Vincent Tundo, famous for the Tundo FDK he piloted. My Sheehan choked him out of being able to FDK. It was just kind of a really funny coincidence. And then I play Cedric Sequeira in the last round, and he beats me in a close game 3, and I come in 8th. And Billy tops as well. So this is both of our third tops. I end up playing Brian Mass in the top 16, and he's playing a Explosion variant, and Sheehan's very good against that. And then I play Billy Break in the top 8, and this is both of our first times out of the top 16. This is both of our first times advancing from the top 16 bracket to the top 8 bracket. And Billy honestly has a 3-to-1 matchup on me at this point. Like, we've tested a lot together, we've gone through a lot together, and to face heads at this point is insane. And I win game 3, no joke, because I'm main decking Swords of Revealing Light and I keep it in, and I flip up his Kinetic Soldier. I'm able to pop it with a Nishi, and I have my third Solemn Judgment for his Heavy Storm. Just like a storybook insane battle. And basically I move on to play Cedric Sequeira. Cedric is the defending champion at this one. He won the 48th. He is coming and trying to go back-to-back wins. This is a huge deal, and I face him, and what happens is game 1, he opens up and sets MST Sangyeon Crush. I draw. I summon Cyber Dragon. He shotguns the Crush card here, and I reveal Yaichi, Grandmaster, which when Grandmaster is destroyed this way, pops back to your hand because it doesn't matter where he's destroyed. United Solemn Windblast. Oh yeah. So I just go summon, so I go United Summon, I draw Fearlessly, draw another Solemn, draw a Premature. It's on like Donkey Kong, and I take that one down very easily from that point. And then game 2, I end up in a situation where we're down to low cards, and I summon Zanji, and he doesn't know that if a Samurai's already on the field, and I summon another, this Samurai's effect is able to use priority. So I have a Yaichi, and it's a new turn. I summon a Zanji. He flips Bottomless prematurely, and I use Yaichi's priority on his other back row since he's revealed Bottomless. And then I sacrifice Yaichi to save Zanji, keeping my other Samurai on the field so that Yaichi's effect can resolve. Very complicated stuff. That's why priority's not around anymore. Probably, but it was really cool at the time because I'm one of the only people who knew rulings like that for Samurais because I played them since week 1. So this is my route through one of my longtime friends who's probably now my best friend, then through the reigning champion, and then through the reigning national champion. And we end up in a game 3 where he misplays. He pitches with Zerato turn 1 to destroy, and at the end phase I say, Adam, your Zerato's dead. And he just shuffles his hand, and he knows. And I just sit there, and he sits there, and I say, Adam, your Zerato's dead. Start shuffling his hand faster, and just like, you can tell, he knows. And then the judge has to tell him, he puts it in the graveyard. We continue play. I end up torrentialing in a huge situation on Dark Arm to where we both have no cards left. And I just have Sheehan in my hand. And I draw to Grandmaster. Go. He draws, passes. I draw United. Go. He draws, sets 2. I draw Yaichi. Summon. Summons. Both are good. Get to draw. Summon the Sheehan. Pop something and then wait. He draws into Marshmallow. I run into it. And my last card in hand at this point is a Lightning Vortex. And I just wait. And he draws. Shuffles his hand. Passes. I draw. I lift up the card. It's an Iru. Because if it was Zanji, I would summon it. They actually said Zanji. And I slam my Vortex into the table. I slam the other one. Push in for game. It was beautiful. It's a moment like none other that I can say I've experienced in the game. The euphoria, I run over. I jump into my friend's arms. They're all waiting there. Billy's over there. Everybody's watching. It was insane. And it felt amazing. So after this point, I still play competitively until about 2009. By the time of my win, I think I had like 8 regional tops. By the time, I still play regionals on and off, but I start trading a lot more because I think this is the right route, and I end up having the dream of opening a store. So I'm trading a ton. I basically stopped playing for a while, and I just have this dream of starting a store up. And in 2014, DUEA had the soft reset of the game where it's just Burning Abyss, Settlers, and realistically Shadows. And these 3 decks all come out as the dominant strategies, and it's easy to learn Yu-Gi-Oh! Again. I learn with Billy. So now I start picking up playing again, and I really want to get back in touch with the player base, and I talked to Billy about starting a channel, because a lot of my friends like Robbie have channels. And so Billy and I have fully mapped out the channel. We start mapping out where to get equipment and stuff, and then Billy wins. 2 weeks into our planning of the channel. And for people that don't know, the channel is half Billy's. Billy put in the money with me to start the channel. Billy and I put $1,300 down on a computer, on the equipment for the overhead camera, the camera, all this kinds of stuff. Like, Billy and I put in on this together, and he's never asked for $1 back since its inception. He loves seeing it grow. So Billy wins, and we have to jumpstart, and we have this terrible video I film a long ways. I've never filmed a video before at this point, so I'm just crash coursing into it. I'm sick, I'm breathing heavy, Billy's sick, the video's honestly pretty bad, but it worked out, and we introduced the channel to the world. And then for the next 5 months, we put out some really bad videos while we get all of our equipment in together, and then we launch, and then we start the Twitch, and then traction really starts to show in our channel. And then I look around at all of YugiTube and realize everybody's kind of imprinting themselves on these deck lists. And I had sworn I wasn't going to do deck list. And I see that everybody else just imprints themselves. Like, they say their opinions about the player's deck list, and they say all these things, but they don't give the player the voice. And I'm like, well, I want to do deck profiles where the player says their tournament. I want to do deck profiles where the player gets to say what they want about their cards. I want to do deck profiles where you're basically getting to listen to what they have to say, because that's what I would have wanted as a competitor, and that's where I wish my 23 regional tops ended up, because I had some super funny ones, some super amazing ones. I wish I could look back at myself and laugh at how I was, my reasonings, and just have a good time being able to go through memory lane with that, but I can't pull back up my several Black Wing Light Sworn wins. I can't pull back up that one time where I played a deck that abused Christia and won a regional. I can't do this kind of stuff. And it really sucks because, you know, YouTube wasn't really around for 2008 as so much as it is like now, where you have a bunch of people trying to get that profile. So I really wanted to just emphasize on the player with my channel from that standpoint. And that's where I started to make my channel not just about me and Billy, but about the community. And then more and more I've reached towards that, and that's where we're going now, guys. We're headed towards regional coverage. OTSs are allowing me to be able to live stream regionals and then record them and put them up on my channel, and that's amazing to me. And it's something the community's begged for years, and I think it's something that can connect players who aren't able to play through formats to make them better because they can watch the gameplay. And it's something lacking in our community where the Street Fighter community has it, the Smash community has it. You're able to watch and understand what's going on even if you're not able to apply it yourself, and you're able to watch the game, become fans of people, be able to like watch them actually go at it and learn from it yourself and apply it yourself, possibly. But the thing is, you don't have to be playing to understand anymore. You're able to just watch high-level competitive play from actual tournaments. I think it's a huge opportunity to bring people who didn't play back into the game, or at least into the zone where they're talking with people in the game, and just able to create this new home for the community. And these two parts, I really do kind of give myself away my space, and sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I had a voice that carried more, but at other times, I'm really happy for what's happening and where we're headed and what we're doing and where we're going. So I really want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. This is not a super plug, but I have up to 5 regionals now that I will be streaming. If you want to help out on the Patreon, it would be awesome, but you don't have to. Every like helps, every comment helps, and every dollar helps that you can give. But this is basically me. This is who I am and how we got to this point and where we're going. And I hope you enjoyed this. If you enjoyed this segment, I'll try to do it with other players. I like the feel of sitting down and it being just them and them talking about their thoughts throughout their career. I would love to do back and forth with the players when being filmed rather than just sitting there and talking themselves. But I really enjoyed this, and I hope you guys did too. So let me know if you want to see this from more players. Thanks for watching, guys.